my gosh. He did not just say that. Oh my gosh. Good.
Hello everyone, I'm here, we're back. Today's a very different video. If you're kind of wondering what I'm drinking, you would never think. You'd think it's coffee, most of the time it is. It is spearmint and mint tea with condensed milk. If you've never had this combination, it's amazing. It's like creamy because it's like milky, and then it's also very minty, refreshing, great, amazing. I grew up on this and I haven't had it in a very long time. So we're here, sipping of tea because I got some tea. Okay, where is it? Oh gosh. All right. Hopefully I don't look real awkward in this seat, but I'm comfortable. It might not look like I'm comfortable, but trust me, I'm comfortable. I'm gonna get real cozy. So by this point, you already have noticed, even with the title, that I read Daydream, which is crazy because I would have never guessed I would be reading Daydream. Not at all, not even in the slightest. But would you believe me if I told you this was a 5-star book? Well, I read this book 2 weeks ago and I still can't stop thinking about it. Oh my gosh, let me tell you about this book. First, I tell you why I read it in the first place. Because I didn't read Icebreaker, I didn't read Wildfire. Mostly because most people don't know this, but you will start to notice, I tend to not like books with a lot of spice. I have a capacity, and I literally say this all the time, I can handle three skippable scenes until the rating of the book starts dropping down. That's where I'm at when it comes to spice and how I read books. I've mentioned it before. I'm gonna take these glasses off because I feel like there's gonna be a glare. I don't really need to see far away right now, so we're just gonna toss it. But when it comes to when I rate books and like spice in books, to just be honest, romance books tends to not be the highest rating books for myself. I tend to rate fantasy books and general fiction a lot higher than romance. Romance, it has to be like a Mariana Zapata book worthy for me to like rate it 5 stars. To be honest, I gauge all my romance books from Mariana Zapata. I'm not gonna lie. Especially in the romance category, because it's really hard to create a romance with plot, but also you're able to connect with both of the characters and understand and love on them. It's just really hard for a romance author to do that. And it's probably because I haven't read enough. But back to Daydream. When Icebreaker first came out a few years ago, it never interested me to read it. Even when it got really popular, and then when the second book came out, still never interested me. What threw me off was the fact that I looked up the spice scenes, because this is a trick for anybody who tries to not read a lot of spice in books. One, who really wants to know what they're getting into before they read a book, always look up the spice chapters, because most of the time people have read it before you. So what this means is that you just read it and you say, what are the spice chapters in Icebreaker or Daydream or Wildfire or any other book? And it will get, like most people, it'll give you how many. And you can kind of gauge, should I buy this book? Should I not buy this book? Icebreaker has like 11 or 12 scenes. The book's not that big. And I was like, there's no way. That is literally, for me, that book is just pure smut. No plot, no romance. To me, there's no romance. People might disagree. And have I read the book? No. So who am I to say or judge this book? But I know myself and know that reading that book would have just been torture. And I would have already rated it like 1 or 2 stars. So what's the sense of reading it for me to just rate it that low? So I mentioned before, the amount of spice in the book determines my ratings, especially in a romance. So the more spice in the book, the lower the rating is, the most likely I won't recommend it. Daydream came out in September. I've been seeing it pop up all over my For You pages on everywhere, Instagram, YouTube. And I accidentally went on TikTok, because I don't really go on TikTok that often. It's every once in a blue moon. And I saw everybody hating on this book. And I was confused. So I investigated. I looked into this book. And all of a sudden I'm like, okay, why are people not liking it? And I'm seeing, oh, they didn't connect with the author, the characters. Then they didn't. There wasn't a lot of spice compared to Icebreaker and Wildfire. And there were people. A lot of people were saying if you liked Icebreaker and Wildfire, you would not have liked Daydream. That's when I knew there was something there. There was something in this book that I was going to like. And all it took was this YouTuber, this booktuber, Emily, oh my gosh, I'm gonna butcher her last name, but I will link her video because I kid you not, I read this reading vlog with her, and the way she talked about this book was just enough for me to go, I'm buying it and I'm gonna read it. So the minute I watched her video, ordered the book, and I waited. The minute that book came in the mail, opened it, finished it in 24 hours. 5 stars. That's just how it is. And I think the reason why I loved this book so much, it was relatable. The reason why I noticed a lot of people did not like it is because it's not that relatable to everybody. This book, it takes two of the things that I feel like represents everything that I've experienced growing up. Being the feeling of growing up where you were the eldest child, the eldest daughter, where you were the one that was always responsible for people, and everyone was always comparing themselves to you. You had an older sibling as well, but like you guys never really were raised together, and the responsibility always fell on you. That was the female character in this book. I related to this female character on every level because that was me growing up. That was my family dynamic growing up as well. And I just felt heard and seen. Like I've never felt heard and seen in a book as much as in this one. But that's just the female character. Wait for the male character. I don't know how this male character was portrayed in the other books. I don't know, and I don't think I care. And the reason why I don't care is because this book was for him. This book showed you his perspective, who he is as a person. You got to know what made him tick and what made him awkward, as people would call it. So the male character in this book as well is how should I put it? He's neurodivergent. He's autistic and he has ADHD, just plain as day. And he just views the world differently. So you got a chance to look into his mind and in his heart, and then you saw the romance between the two. It was so sweet. I loved it so much. Oh my gosh, I love this book. I can tell why people did not like this book, but I can also tell why certain people loved this book. If you did not like Icebreaker and Wildfire, you're gonna love this book. And I agree with that statement. And if you like Icebreaker and Wildfire, you're not gonna like this book. I'm gonna be honest with you. Hannah Grace, I think she cracked the code to making romance that is not in the smut world. And I say that because, of course, it's in the same series, like I guess standalone series, but I tabbed a lot in this book. Note, this was probably the first book that I pulled out tabs for because the author's note is what got me to pull out the tabs. It was so, I just felt, I felt heard, I felt seen. And that author's note, she talked about her reasoning behind like picking these characters, and you can tell she took her time with this. She did not rush this book. She did not rush her character development. The characters have you hooked. So these were the tabs that I did. That I tapped. Or these are the things that I tapped. Shoot. I did spice, relatable, quotes, and my soul. And when I mean my soul, I mean like it had my heart ripped out of my chest, and then just like, not saying it in a bad thing, like I'm like, but it's deeper than relatable. I want to go back. I want to look at the spice chapters. I think there was 3. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 spice scenes. But guess what? These spice scenes weren't long. These were like, I flipped a page and it was done. When I kid you not, with modern contemporary romances that are pulled out or that have been published recently, the spice is out of hand. For me, at least. Some people love it, but for me, I enjoy a romance-focused book where we care about the characters. We care about their connection together. I don't care about their their extracurricular activities. I don't. I don't think it adds to the romance at all. And it's crazy because I still rated this 5 stars. This is up there with Mariana Zapata. And I say that, and if you haven't heard of Mariana Zapata, every book I've read from her, I would recommend. It's all plot. Her books are thick, just like this book is a pretty big book. But the spice is very centered. You fall in love with the characters before the spice happens. And that's what I think a lot of romance books are missing. Because if you start the book off with spice, you get 50 pages in, there's a spice scene. Then here's the thing, there's no romance. And any person who's like, let's just even get out of the fictional realm. Let's think of relationships in general. Any person will tell you this. Majority of relationships where people start sleeping together, before they ever get to know the person, they all crash and burn. Just crash and burn in reality. You can't really, it's hard to see the romance when physicality things come into play. I think it's the same thing with books. It's really hard for an author to have a really deep romance between the characters with the amount of spice that's in a lot of contemporary books right now. But here's the thing, Hannah Grace, she did it. I don't care to read the other 2 books. Honest to goodness, would I read another book from her if it's like this? If she comes out with another book like this one, I will buy it. I will read it. But as I tell everybody before, like when it comes to as I tell everybody with romance books, look up the spice scenes. There are so many creators on Instagram and TikTok that post the chapters. You can even see it on Pinterest in different books. So that if that's something that you want to know, should I read this ahead of time? Is it going to be worth your time? Look it up. That's how I started this one. When I looked and saw that the page numbers of the spice, I said, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna read it. Because I can't do an icebreaker. I can't. But this, whew, let me share some quotes. All right, let's see. Let's start with the My Soul, right? All right, so I don't even, this My Soul one is not a quote, but it's a scene. So let's envision the scene right now. So the female character's name is Haley, right? And his name is Henry, right? Haley ends up sick at his house. She's drunk, right? Yeah, she's drunk. Literally in his bathroom, underneath his cabinet, he has a box that's like just for females. Everything a girl would need is inside of it. And it's his reasoning behind it is because, well, in case my friends need anything, they feel like they have they have everything they need. So endearing, so caring. I'm like, shoot, what dude is like that? But here's the thing, most dudes are not like that. I'm not saying this sets unrealistic expectations for guys, but if you have ever met somebody that is autistic or has ADHD, or even has both of them, there are certain characteristics in these individuals that make them care so deeply for people. That's why I think this book is superior, because if you've met somebody or know somebody that's neurodivergent, they care for the things that are insignificant, and it's always a big deal. So that's that. Also, this book is amazing when it comes to communication. There's no miscommunication trope in this. They spoke to each other. Both of these characters, they actually communicated because they realized, like, Henry, he's autistic, he has ADHD. He realized, because as an adult, as you get older, you realize, especially when you're neurodivergent, if people don't communicate with you, you feel confused, you feel lost, and you check them out. You forget they exist. And that was that. Communication is really big. Let me find a quote. Oh my gosh. Oh, Amazon came. All right. This is a quote from Haley. This is like, just look into the eyes of the eldest daughter in a family. All right. I've spent my entire life being encumbered by tasks and responsibilities other people don't want. I make sacrifices without question because that's what I've always done. And at this point, it is hard to know it is if it's a true desire to help or just habit. Dude, this was on page 10. In my head, I said, shoot, I feel it. I feel it. Let's see. Let's find another one. Oh, that one's way too close to home. Here's this one. All right. This is a relatable from Haley's perspective, especially. I'm going around in circles, and then my stepsister calls because she has a fight with my mom. Then my mom calls to tell me her side of the story. Then my younger sister calls because she's upset that everyone is fighting. When I'm done being the mediator, I can't remember what plot idea I was developing in the first place. In my head, I'm like looking at this and like, I don't have a younger sibling, but I have younger brothers. And it's just like the dynamic where like somebody's upset, I'm hearing everybody's side of the story, and I'm just supposed to be the mediators. Oh my gosh, I heard that, felt that. Ooh, here's another one. These quotes that I'm reading are like very evasive. Let's say that. It tells me my faults. All right, here's one. I sometimes mirror new people by accident, but I can't maintain it. Literally, I'm just like, is it not something that I do? And then I hide my face. Every time I read through a quote that like I felt like a mirror was I was looking at myself in the mirror. That was it. That was it. Here's another one. This is a quote from Henry. I'm not good at. Oh, sorry. I'm not good at maintaining friendships, but don't appear in front of me. Oh shoot. Let me repeat myself. I'm not good at maintaining friendships that don't appear in front of me, and that I need to checking in on her to my priority list. And it's very interesting because he's like, if these friendships are not in front of my face, I will never actually remember to check upon these people, and I just forget. And that is just like so much. That is my problem. I have a lot, and it's mostly because my brain just does not remember, and I'm just seeing it relating to so much from these characters. Oh my, this is my last one, I promise you, my last one. I hate being the family manager. I hate that the only time anyone ever thinks of me is because they want something from me. I hate feeling like I'm everyone's mom when all I ever want when I call my own mom. Being the eldest daughter is a curse, and I'm sick of it. Listen, Hannah Grace, I'm glad I was able to enjoy a book by her. I'm gonna be honest, even if this is the only book I ever enjoy from her, I'm glad. I am so glad. But as I said before, this is Daybreaker. I don't want to say this book is for everyone, but I think if you are somewhere, if you're very interested and curious and to look into the eyes of somebody that's neurodivergent, this book is for you. I think the author does a great job at pairing the romance between the two characters. That's a one. Who is this book not for? Because I think this is also important. This book is not for a younger audience, and I say that meaning younger than 18, don't read. Not saying it's bad, it's just content-wise, and personally, in my opinion, if you're under the age of 18, I don't even think any sort of insinuation should be in your books. But you know, everyone to each his own. To each his own. Who else is this book not for? This is not for somebody that likes spice. If you like spice, do not go for it. People, when they think of Hannah Grace, up until this book, is spice. This book is not it. This book is not something I would compare it to. This has been my favorite book of September. Is it September I read this? Shoot. This is my favorite book of October. But as I said before, with this book here, just if you're not into spice, don't read it. That's about it. If you're waiting, hold on. Oh no, sorry. If you're into spice, don't read it. Guys, that's my rant. I feel like I enjoy ranting with these books because it gives me a chance to kind of vomit out everything that's in my head about these books while also like giving a really good review that I can go back on. But if you want to read Daydream, give it a try. Is it something that I think most people enjoy? Yeah, typically people either rate it 3 stars or 5 stars. So here's the thing, no matter what, at least you know it's not going to be a waste of time. Because if anybody rates anything less than 3, don't read it. Don't read it. Don't. Have I read books from people that rated it really low? Yes. But if somebody has a very similar taste in books and they rate something really high, you better give it a chance. So anyway, that's what I got for y'all today. Daydream is here. It's good. It was well worth the 24 hours. I would recommend this book to anybody that that wants a book that's relatable. But this is very neurodivergent focused and eldest daughter focused. So I've also noticed people who are like the youngest, the baby of the family, might not understand this book. And I say that, and I say that very well, because they might feel attacked the entire time. If you are not the oldest sibling, most likely you will not relate to this book. But do I think you have to relate to all the characters? No, but I think for me, that's what makes a 5-star. I have to relate to you. If I can relate to a character from the very beginning and I can understand their pain, their struggle, and I can see their romance come to be, shoot, 5 stars. So that's what I got for y'all today. This is my review on Daydream. I hope y'all enjoy reading this book. I hope you enjoyed this video. I would hope to do more videos like this. I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was fun just focusing on one book and then being able to just talk my thoughts. So anyway, as we are here and concluding this video, because I'm losing daylight here, I hope you have a great one, and I will see you next time. Bye.